Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Monday. Today I want to read a verse to you from 1 John chapter 5, which is actually one of my favorite verses, certainly something that we teach to our new converts and remind our people from time to time. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 13, he says, "These things I've written to you who believe in the name of the Son of God, that you may know that you have eternal life, and that you may continue to believe in the name of the Son of God." Whenever he says these things, you have to go back a couple of verses to see what he's talking about, because John has actually been teaching them the gospel message. He says in verse 11, "This is the testimony that God has given us eternal life, and that this life is in his Son. And he who has the Son has life. He who does not have the Son does not have life." In these things, he is reminding us that God has given to us eternal life. John 3:16 says, "God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him would not perish, but would have eternal life." So he's reminding us of that. He's also reminding us that this life is in the Son. Romans 10 verse 9 says, "If you believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you can be saved." We recognize that Jesus Christ is the very basis of our salvation. And he makes it clear in that verse where he says, "He who has the Son has life." There is nothing added to that. It's not any feast days, he says, or works, practices, traditions. You have the Son, you have life. And you don't take anything away. We can't take away from God's grace. We can't take away from our faith or the promises that God had in his word. He who does not have the Son does not have life. It's pretty plain and simple. It's not some sort of formula that we cannot follow. Whatever else you may be betting on, or whatever else you're hoping for your salvation, whatever passage you're trying to reach for heaven, it's not going to work. Because he who has the Son has life. He who does not have the Son does not have life. And he said, "These things I have written to you." You realize that John is writing to believers. He's writing to the New Testament church. He is writing a letter that will be handed around from fellowship to fellowship and read among the people who believe in Jesus Christ. And he said, "You're the ones I'm writing to, you recognize, that you may know that you have eternal life." I do not want Christianity to be a hope-so faith. I do not want it to be something where we're counting on things but not really sure. There ought to be no doubts whatsoever. I'm writing to you that you may know that you have eternal life, and that you might continue to believe in the name of the Son of God. Continually trusting in him is an important thing here, because he says the one who has given us life is the one that we trust in. The one who is keeping us so close to God and drawing us every day by his Spirit. That's the one that we trust in. The one who is preparing a place in heaven, as he said in John chapter 14. That is the one that we trust in. The one who is coming back for you one day, as he says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. That is the one that we trust in. And certainly that one that has given us eternal life. He said, "Listen, I've written to you these things that you may know." And I hope you have that kind of know-so faith today that says, "I believe in Jesus Christ, and he has promised eternal life."